Hello everyone, welcome to Anime No Me, and thank you for joining us for another One Piece video. Following everything that happened in Wano, the Straw Hat crew has managed to increase their rewards and bounties, becoming a Yonko's crew, which caused an even greater increase in the bounty of each crew member. This bounty increase for most of the Straw Hats was only possible because of the powerful enemies they ended up defeating in Wano. But currently, there are powerful enemies staging to fight them in their current location, Egghead Island, which opens up the possibility that their bounties could increase even more after confronting these enemies that are preventing them from being able to advance in their journey or even leaving Egghead, ultimately stopping them from becoming a Pirate King's crew. So in today's video, we're going to talk about the possibility of the Straw Hats' bounties increasing even more after the end of the events of our current arc that's taking place on Egghead Island. And we're also going to talk about the reasons that led the Straw Hats to gain this increase in their bounties. But before we dive into the video, if you're new to the channel or even if you've watched a bunch of our videos, we'd be absolutely honored if you'd leave us a like or even subscribe and maybe leave us a comment letting us know what you thought of the video. It really helps us out, especially with that old YouTube algorithm, and it keeps motivating us to make more content. And if you'd like to help out the channel in a bigger way, consider sharing this video or another one of your favorites with a friend. But without further ado, let's get into the video. So my friends, currently in the One Piece manga, it looks like the Straw Hats might be in some pretty serious danger. And this is pretty surprising, especially with what they just went through in Wano. Currently, the world government wants Vegapunk to be eliminated, and to achieve this, they've ordered CP0 to assassinate him on Egghead Island. But because Luffy ended up being on this island and has agreed to protect Vegapunk, that mission is now looking pretty impossible. So CP0 had to reach out to the Navy that the Yonko, Monkey D. Luffy, was on Egghead Island along with his crew. So soon, Egghead Island is going to be under siege by the Navy and the world government, and very powerful members of these two organizations are going to be coming together on this island in order to defeat not only the Straw Hats, but also assassinate Vegapunk. So far, we have at least 4 quite powerful characters that are in Egghead or soon to be on Egghead Island. The first being Admiral Kizaru, a very important figure within the Navy and one of the most powerful and experienced Marines out there, being one of those responsible for confronting Whitebeard during the Battle of the Best at Marineford. Next, we have the leader of CP0, Rob Lucci, an extremely skilled agent and one of the most experienced people in the use of Rokoshiki techniques. In addition to having confronted Luffy during the events of Enies Lobby, but he was defeated, so he's going to have a little bit more of a personal stake in this. Another powerful agent of CP0 that is also on the scene is Kaku. Now, not only is he an extremely skilled character in Rokoshiki techniques, he also has a Zoan fruit that allows him to transform into a giraffe. Now, during the very same Enies Lobby incident I just referred to, he faced off against Zoro and, like Lucci, lost to the swordsman. Finally, we come to Stussy, our 4th and powerful member of the 3 CP0 agents, along with Kizaru that'll be on Egghead Island. She's also been an emperor of a criminal underworld and is a very good scientist, quite great in fact, belonging to the former MADS organization where she worked together with Vegapunk and other notable scientists such as Judge and Caesar Clown. So all in all, these characters are incredibly powerful and belong to one of the highest ranks within the organization they belong to, being the most competent and assigned to fulfill the most difficult and dangerous missions. If anyone were to defeat any of these people, the person responsible for doing this would receive a huge bump in their bounty. And not only that, they'd be considered an even greater danger for attaining the incredible feat of defeating either a Cypher Pole Zero agent or a Navy admiral. In fact, this was demonstrated when the Straw Hats managed to defeat CP9 and save Nico Robin. Their bounties were increased in a big way because of this feat, making them even more wanted pirates worldwide. So far in the One Piece story, we've never seen any pirate being able to take on an admiral. Although the admirals have faced the Yonko several times and pirates with the same level of power as these great emperors. But there's no mention that the Yonko have ever defeated an admiral or even vice versa. So this could be the very first time we see this feat. I mean, Luffy was able to defeat Rob Lucci with great ease, even after Lucci was made even more powerful from awakening his devil fruit. This means that their rewards and bounties are going to increase because of winning yet again. And currently, Kizaru is on his way to Egghead to confront Luffy, so it's very possible that we'll see a battle between an admiral and a Yonko. So if Luffy actually does take on Kizaru, we don't necessarily know who will end up taking on CP0, as we recently discovered that there is a person on Egghead capable of confronting CP0 and letting the Straw Hats escape. Or if not take on CP0, they would be able to manage to delay them until Vegapunk can escape the island. So for now, it's still kind of looking inevitable that there is gonna be a clash between Luffy and Kizaru on Egghead Island. Finally, deciding between these two characters who is stronger. And this might be the very first time where we actually get to see Kizaru using his full power and actually fighting seriously. In this most recent confrontation in the manga, around chapter 1071, Zoro is said to briefly confront Kaku, a confrontation in which Zoro managed to surprise Kaku with new abilities, and Kaku looked quite worried. So as we can see, it's really likely that the Straw Hats would be able to defeat CP0 because of how much stronger they are than before, but the real danger still is Kizaru, and the island surrounded by many more powerful Marines. If the Straw Hats and Vegapunk really manage to leave the island, it's gonna make their fame increase even more, being one of the pirates that not even the Navy, together with CP0, would be able to stop. Also, if there really is a battle between Luffy and Kizaru, Luffy manages to pull out the win over the Admiral, this is going to make Luffy recognized worldwide as a true Yonko, something that so far, some characters still aren't recognizing him for. A great and pretty recent example of this is Admiral Ryukugyu, who invaded Wano specifically to capture Luffy, even though he knew he was able to defeat Kaido or even Lucci, who, even after being defeated by Luffy, still does not recognize him as a true Yonko. So through everything that's about to take place on Egghead, this is going to make the whole world take notice of Luffy as a great pirate and possibly the closest to being able to find the One Piece. We're likely to see Luffy's bounty increase a lot because of what is about to transpire, because as we know, the values of the bounties assigned to pirates and other highly dangerous people is done by the world government through the Marines, who analyze exactly how dangerous and how much of a threat that person could be. That way, they can assign a bounty close to the danger that this person can present to the world of One Piece. And often this value is not exact, especially in the case of Chopper, who, even though he's very powerful in his own right and an amazing doctor, his reward is pretty much equivalent to that of a pet on the crew. So as I said, the value is not always completely correct. The Navy and the world government do their best to make this value as close to the true value as possible based on the information they get from these people. The specific amount of a given bounty is then calculated by a very special department within the Marine headquarters, currently headed by Commodore Brand New, based on the perceived threat level of a given criminal. Kizaru, CP0, and several other Marines will witness this battle and confrontation, which is going to make all the Straw Hats' actions something in which everyone will be able to perfectly calculate the level of threat they represent. So this upcoming confrontation of Luffy against Kizaru will be essential for Luffy to get an even greater bounty through this confrontation against one of the strongest Marines, allowing Luffy to draw even more attention from Akainu for a future fight. And in this confrontation, it's not only going to be Luffy who's going to stand out, but all the other Straw Hats who are going to participate to enable Vegapunk to escape the island without being captured by the Navy or the world government. Because ultimately, a bounty reflects both an individual's threat and power, and if this individual belongs to any group, the other members of the group receive an increase in their rewards if the crime this member committed is something quite serious. Just consider for a moment what happened on Onigashima during the raid. Even the crew members who didn't have a great participation during the battle, they had their rewards increased because Luffy managed to defeat Kaido. Even though there were crew members that were absolutely pivotal in gaining the win in the confrontation, it was really Luffy, Sanji, Zoro, and perhaps Law and Kid that got the most recognition for their participation in the battle, because they ultimately managed to defeat Kaido, King, and Queen, 3 of the 4 main Pirates of the Beast crew, and it's for that reason that their bounties were increased the most after everything that happened in this confrontation. This means that anyone who participates in this Egghead Island clash is gonna have their bounties increased even further. Now, usually the Monster Trio gets the greatest participation, but Jinbei also has an opportunity to shine out in here, as well as other Straw Hats who are going to be supportive and really are going to be essential to advance their mission. Just to take a moment to talk a little bit more about Jinbei, don't forget that Jinbei has had some moments of extremely great prominence, such as what happened in Whole Cake Island, or even during the Wano arc in which he took down Who's Who, allowing his own bounty to increase even more than that of some of the other Straw Hats who've been on the crew longer. In fact, Jinbei's bounty surpassed even Sanji's, where it is first Luffy with the highest bounty, then Zoro, and Jinbei following in third, making Sanji 4th, which means that we could in fact see Jinbei confronting a powerful member of CP0, or even delay Kizaru, making this character gain even more prominence worldwide for taking on these powerful members of the world government. We also have to stay open to the possibility that Brook, Chopper, Nami, Nika Robin, or Frankie will surprise us with some great achievement in this battle that is very close to happening. Can confronting some powerful character, allowing their own bounty to increase all the more. So this is shaping up to be one of the greatest confrontations in One Piece, at least so far. A confrontation in which we'll see Luffy facing off against an opponent as strong, or maybe even stronger than Kaido, again using the power of his new transformation to the fullest. And more importantly than just the bounty number, it's gonna be the notoriety and fame around the world that potentially will mean the most to Luffy and the rest of the Straw Hats. That alone would make them greater than that of any other Yonko crew, making their bounties quite a bit bigger than that of Kid or even Law. But with all that said, my friends, I'd now love to know what you think about it. Do you think this whole confrontation is going to go down the way some people are hyping it? Do you think we'll get to see a full battle between Kizaru and Luffy? Or is this mysterious character waiting in the wings going to put that on pause until a later date when we really get to see Kizaru unleash? Also, how do you think Vegapunk plans to get himself and the Straw Hats off the island? We've heard some speculation about them going up to one of the moons potentially before they go to Elbaf. What do you think about that possibility? Let us know what you think in the comments below. So as we wrap up our video, I'd like to thank you all so much for watching the video, especially those of you who've stayed with us here to the very end. Be sure you comment on any themes or ideas that you'd like to see in future videos. And also, since you made it this far, give us a like and hit that red subscribe button before you head out to take on the rest of your day. Hope to see you all in our next video. Let's keep sailing this giant sea together. Take care.